Thank you, Apostle Prince, for having me again. You are true friends. And I want to thank the Lord for your precious wife. Thank you for being here today. And for supporting your husbands the way you do. Thank you, Pastor Gideon, and your precious wife. Thank you for having me as well. Thank you for overseeing the church and supporting Pastor Prince. Thank you for that. Yes. Okay, if everybody got a piece of paper, we can start with Psalm 23 again. Here you see the sheep, and we are halfway the psalm. I think it's a good moment to look back to what we shared thus far. Verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. If you look at the word shepherd, being a shepherd, it means that the good shepherd is the one who feeds, guides, and shields me. Amen? Amen. So not just shepherding, but it's a lot more than that. He feeds, he guides, and he shields me. And if we've got the Lord as our good shepherd, we have all we need. And he will be more than enough for me. Amen? Amen. It's very important to realize that. Verse 2. He leads me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still and quiet waters. Yes, well, I showed you this picture from the children's Bible. Yes, you know this picture, I think. Okay. Well, I explained to you the first time that it was more like this. It was not so romantic. Yes, there were a lot of rocks, high mountains. Some sheep were going there. Some sheep were astray, they were gone. We didn't know where they were. But because you like this picture, we take this picture, okay? But it was a very tough job. And you know, most of you have family in Africa. You know it's a tough job, it's difficult. 24/7 you take care of the sheep. If he is our shepherd, we don't have to be afraid any longer. But we may experience some moments in which we are aware of friction with other people. And we want to be free from bugs that irritate us. But if he is our shepherd, it will be okay. And we will not have hunger. Because the shepherd is our bread of life. And our supplier of living water. Amen? Amen. John 6 verse 35 talk about that. 6 verse 35. Verse 3, that was the last time I was here. He refreshes and restores my soul and life. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Well, he takes care of us in the most broadest sense. Perhaps you could read the whole psalm again in Kinyamulenge. Yes. anyobora inzira yo gukiranuka kubw'izina rye. Naho nanyura mu gikombe cy'igicucu cy'urupfu sinzatinya ikibi cyose kuko ndi kumwe nawe. Inshyimbo yawe n'inkoni yawe nibyo bimpumuriza. Untunganiriza ameza mu maso y'abanzi banjye, unsize amavuta mu mutwe, igikombe cyanjye kirasesekara. Ni ukuri kugirirwa neza n'imbabazi bizanyumaho iminsi yose nkiriho, nanjye nzaba mu nzu y'Uwiteka iteka ryose.
Yes, thank you. Let's repeat verse 4 again. Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear or dread no evil, for you are with me.
Reka twongere dusome umurongo wa kane. Naho nanyura mu gikombe cy'igicucu cy'urupfu sinzatinya ikibi cyose kuko ndi kumwe nawe. Inshyimbo yawe n'inkoni yawe nibyo bimpumuriza.
And like always, I cut the passage in half. So let's first have a look at the first bits, and then the second bits. Okay. Verse 4a. Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear or dread no evil, for you are with me. With the first parts of the psalm, that was very general. But now from verse 4 he says, I have a personal good shepherd for myself. And it's very important to emphasize this, because David is a sheep of a whole group of sheep, and they will have a long trek through the country. They have a long walk with the sheep through the country, through the valley, up the hills, to the top of the mountains. And it's a long summer trail. It takes a long time during summer. Yes. And the sheep will spend their summer in close relationship with the good shepherds. And they will have a good time, but it will also be hard. Because they will have to work their way up to the mountains. And finally, toward the end of the year, as fall passes, the sheep are driven back to the ranch where all the sheep are together. And there they will spend the winter because it's very cold then. And this is the period which is described in the second half of Psalm 23. Yes, between summer and winter the sheep are together with the shepherds. They get a lot of personal attention from the shepherds, day and night. And that's why it's in first language, he and me. Yes, you and I are joined together, good shepherds. Yes, so we should not forget, you know, about Africa and also about Egypt. There's a lot of wilderness. There are wild mountains, rushing rivers, meadows on the mountains, and high peaks in the mountains. So it's a bit like this. You know that from Africa, South Africa, for instance, Table Mountain. Yes, rough terrain, mountainous. And then it says, yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Well, this bit says that I go through the valley. Not that I enter it and stop, or that I even die there. No, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Well, dying is not the end, because it's a door into a higher and more exalted life of intimate contact with the Lord. Death is but a dark valley opening out into an eternity with the light with God. It's not something to fear, but it's an experience through which one passes on the path to a more perfect life. Amen?
Amen.
So the valleys are very important. Yes, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear or dread no evil, for you are with me. Well, there are three reasons, and you are told you have a heritage of Africa and sheep and flocks. So perhaps I'm not going to tell you a lot of new things because you are acquainted with But there are three reasons why a shepherd has to lead his or her flock through that valley. To get into the high country with its summer range, a place where they can stay during the summer. And we should consider these three reasons to be very important and for our own benefits. Besides, there's no other way to get to the higher grounds. You have to go through the valley. And the long trek, the long journey has three benefits as well. And if we accept this truth, we will thank the Lord for it. So we don't have to be afraid of the valley of the shadow of death. Because He is with us. He even said in Matthew 28, verse 20, after explaining the Great Commission, and lo, I am with you always, regardless of circumstance and on every occasion. What an awesome picture. He was with us, He is with us, and He will always be with us. Amen? Regardless of circumstance and on every occasion. Always. So this is the first reason and the first benefit of having the Lord as our shepherd. He was with me. He is with me. And He will always be with me. And He will be always with us, all of us. Regardless of what will happen. Amen?
Amen.
Although this is an absolute truth, we can still have moments in which we don't experience the Lord's presence, at least I have. Well, there may be times that you will not experience the presence of God. Do you recognize that? Amen? Very difficult times. And that you are in the valley of the shadow of death, and that you don't feel Him, that you don't see Him, and you don't hear Him. That the disappointments, the frustrations, the discouragements, the dilemmas, the dark and very difficult days seem to be dead ends. Yes, all those 5 difficult things. They may result in feeling that you are at a dead-end road. You know? You get into the road and then you stop. You can't get any further. It's a dead-end road. Very difficult. Well, if we want to go to the higher ground, we have to go through the valley. Whether we like it or not, we have to go through. And if I go through the valley of the shadow of death, it sounds a bit strange, but it helps me to thank the Good Shepherd for it. How difficult it may be. And I think all of you can relate to that the valley of the shadow of death can be very, very difficult. Life can be very difficult. And I think it helps me and it will help you to remind ourselves again and again by saying to our Good Shepherds, this is very difficult for me, Lord, but I think at the end it will be the best thing I've gone through. To get onto higher grounds. Amen?
Amen.
And when I thank Him for the difficult things and the difficult times, I remember that He was there with me. In my distress, in my panic. And at that point, my fear, my misgivings give way to calm and confidence in His care. So panic, fear, and misgivings, they will go away. Because the Lord will give me calmness and confidence. Because He cares for me. Amen? And I will know that somehow it will turn out for the best. Because He is with me in the valley. And everything is under His control. And knowing Him in an intimate way will make life much more bearable than ever before. The second reason, and therefore the second benefit that we have the Lord as a Good Shepherd, He knows where water can be found in rivers and wells, and the dew on the grass. Yes, refreshing water. Well, the journey can be very hot and tiresome. And the sheep will experience intense thirst. And how glad the sheep are if they find water all over the place to drink and to quench their thirst so they can continue. Yes, very important. And as Christians we will sooner or later discover that along the journey in the valleys of our lives that we find refreshment from the Good Shepherd Himself. And it is not until we go through the valley of the shadow of death that we discover that He refreshes us over and over and over again. And if we go through it, we can encourage others that the Lord will be there. Amen?
Amen.
So if other people go through difficult things, you can comfort them by saying, the Good Shepherd will help you. He will feed you. He will refresh you. And the third reason and last benefit of having the Lord as our Good Shepherd, He knows where most food can be found. Because the grass grows best in the valleys. It's not so hot in the valleys. There is more rain in the valleys. So the grass has better quality. Yes, as Christians we may know that we will get spiritual strength from spiritual food from the Good Shepherds.
tugomba kumenya ko tugira imbaraga zo mu buzima bwacu ari imbaraga zo mu mwuka wera.
Let's repeat the three benefits.
Reka dusubiremo impamvu zitatu.
Our Good Shepherd, He is with us. He refreshes us. And He gives us food. He strengthens us. Amen. So very important to have Him as our Good Shepherds. Well, we're halfway, so I'd like to pray for the second bit. Dear God, thank you for being our Good Shepherds. Thank you that you will give us strength, that you will give us water, living water, and that you will give us the bread of life. Amen. Let's now have a look at the second part of verse 4, verse 4b. Your rods and your staff, they comfort me. Well, it says in the Amplified Bible, that's a Bible with Hebrew and Greek words literally translated into English. It says, your rods to protect me, and your staff to guide me, they comfort and console me. Yes, very important. That's what it says in the whole meaning of Hebrew in English. Okay, and what are those sticks about, your rod and your staff? Well, I did not know that. I thought the shepherd had just one stick, just one. But I think you know from Africa that they have two sticks. The rod and the staff. Well, in the Middle East, most shepherds still have those two sticks. So each shepherd and shepherdess, they have those two sticks. Yes. From the time when a young shepherd, a man or a woman, starts to tend the father's flock, he or she takes special pride in the selection of a rod and a staff. It should be exactly proper for their own size and strength. So the young man or woman will go to the bush and select a young tree. They carve it with a knife with great care and patience till it is like this. So like a young shepherd, I went to the bush and took a young tree here in Gelderland. Took it home. I was working on it with a knife. It was a lot of work. It took me 2 afternoons to finish it. So it took great care and patience to finish those trees. Yes, and they made it smooth with a rounded head and hard roots. Yes, and a young man and a young woman, they would practice a lot by throwing the rods to hit something, a wild animal, a lion or a bear. Yes, they would practice a lot. So a young shepherd could use it. He would go through the air, and it would be the main weapon of defense for him or herself and the sheep. Amen? So that is the rod. It's a weapon. It's a symbol of the shepherd's strength. Yes. And also for his power and authority in serious situations. And he or she would rely on the rods
umwungere yagombaga
to protect himself and to protect his or her flock
kugira ngo imurinde ndetse irinde intama yabaga afite
in danger.
mu gihe cy'ibibazo.
Secondly,
Icya kabiri,
the rod is used to discipline the sheep.
yayikoreshaga kugira ngo yite ku ntama cyangwa kuzishyira.
The shepherd would take the rod and would throw it near the sheep.
yashoboraga kuyifata akayitera nk'iriya kugira ngo intama
And the sheep would then boop, and would go back to the flock.
zigahita zikanga zikagaruka.
Thirdly,
intama zigaruka.
the rod is used to examine the sheep.
ikindi kandi yagikoreshaga asa nk'upima intama
The
position.
shepherd pokes in the wool of the sheep
yagendaga azipimisha kano kantu
to see whether it's okay, if it's healthy.
nimba zimeze neza zitarwaye.
And there are no insects and bugs and all kinds of stuff. Yes. So it looks at the health of the animal. It says in Ezekiel 20 verse 37a, I, says the Lord God, will make you pass under the rods. Then the shepherd now, the flock is complete. So the rod is used as a weapon, a way to get the sheep back, and an instrument to check the flock. Yes. Summary: weapon to get them back and to check them. Your rods to protect me. And what spiritual lessons can we learn from the rods? Well, we can compare the rods with the Word of God, the Bible. And what does it do, the Bible? Well, the Word will protect me. It will discipline me. And it will examine me. Yes, so the Word will protect me, it will discipline me, and it will examine me. So we think about the Bible when we see the rods. We can use the Bible, the Word of God, to protect ourselves against the enemy, against Satan. And secondly, it will keep us from sin. And thirdly, the Word will examine me. Because Psalm 139 verse 23 says, search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Yes. So that's what it does. It protects us, it will discipline us, and it will examine us. Amen?
Amen.
Now we go to the shepherd's staff. Yes, your staff to guide me. Well, the staff is essentially a symbol of the concern, of the involvement a shepherd has for his or her sheep. So it's about the care for the sheep. Well, the staff is normally longer. You can see this one, the longer one, with a hook or a crook at the ends. Just as the rod reminds us of the Word of God, the staff is symbolic of the Spirit of God. Amen. So the rods, the short one, is symbolic for the Bible. And the staff is symbolic for the Holy Spirit. And what will the staff do? Well, it will draw the sheep together. It will draw them to the shepherd. And it will guide the sheep. So we need the Word and we need the Spirit as well. And what spiritual lessons can we learn from the staff? Well, it's the Spirit of God that gathers Christians. It's also the Spirit that draws us to the Good Shepherd. to have us thoroughly examined.
ni umwuka w'Imana kandi utuyobora kwimenya aho turi.
And it's also the Spirit that leads us into the full truth.
Ni umwuka w'Imana utuyobora ku kuri kuzuye.
So the Spirit gathers Christians.
Umwuka ateranya abakristo.
It draws us to the Good Shepherds.
Atuyobora ku mwungeri mwiza.
And it leads us into the full truth. So we need both. We need the rod and we need the staff.